Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from our space. Devastated. Wife's emotional affair confirmed tonight. Don't know what to do. Please help. My wife and I are approaching our 7-year anniversary. She's 34, I'm 33, and we have a beautiful 3-year-old son. 6 months ago, my wife started her dream job as an elite-level pediatric nurse at a local hospital. She quickly learned that it was a wild environment with lots of affairs, wild partying, etc. But that's not who she is, who we are, or anything even remotely close to how we live our lives. We're both more on the conservative side, and she made that clear up front. She was assigned 2 trainers for her orientation, one of which was her primary. He is an incredible nurse, one of the best in the area, and he's probably 12 to 15 years her senior. She raved about him from the start and how smart he was, how he was like a father figure to her, etc. I'm not the jealous type, but I've met the guy, and he's not even slightly physically attractive. Plus, he's older and married as well. They spend a ton of time together as they are on 12 or 24-hour shifts, and he was on every single call with her. I knew they were close, but thought nothing of it, honestly. One night, she told me she felt like she needed to talk to him because she thought his feelings might be becoming inappropriate. He hadn't done anything, but she just felt like she needed to clarify that she was happily married, yada yada. I was proud of her, supporting her, and was glad she was willing to stand up for our marriage, confirming my trust in her, I thought. Fast forward to the company Christmas party. She left the party early and came home to be with my son and I. I have no doubt about that, but when she left and the other guy wasn't there, rumors began swirling that they left to go be together. She was livid about the rumors, confronted the girls who started the rumors, and caused quite a scene to try and clear her name. All the while, I stood by her without really questioning anything, because I knew where she was that night. She ended up telling me that she felt like she needed to talk to him a second time about the relationship, and that it needed to be strictly professional. Again. He's old, he's unattractive, and she's seemingly proactive to be sure people know where she stands. I'm by her 100%, but I told her I wanted to make it known that I didn't want there to be any more non-work communication. She agreed. While all this was going on, we're struggling a bit at home. Since having a kid, date nights have been few and far between, and we've both gotten complacent in the relationship. Sex is great when we have it, but it's infrequent at times. She is super sensitive and edgy and distant, needs a lot more me time than she's ever needed before. But whatever, sometimes I do too. Regardless, I've definitely been making more of an effort recently, and my behavior has changed. But during an argument, she tells me she thinks it's faked. Darned if I do, darned if I don't. We argued over something stupid one night, and she got pissed and decided she was going to start texting him. So she does. And changes the passcode on her cell phone, which I only found out by accident later on. I had no clue she was texting him or had changed the code. Super shady and super unlike her at all. When I found out about the passcode, she apologized, said she was just really angry that night and did it out of anger. I told her again I didn't want her talking to him. Next thing I know, I come home from work one day and someone from her team at work has sent an anonymous text message to the other guy's wife detailing his inappropriate relationship with my wife and how it has gotten out of hand. They're constantly flirting, etc., but there's no mention of anything physical. Both this guy and my wife are denying that anything other than a good friendship exists. I'm caught completely off guard, because now we're on a whole other level than a rumor from a party. Still, I stood by her. She thought it was the drama girls from her team, and then she learned some info that led her to believe it was actually a guy on her team. For the first split second, I doubted her. Guys don't send text messages to stir up drama like that. Not these guys. These guys are firefighters, EMTs, etc. They're not into playing games. Nevertheless, I could tell she was really upset about it, so I tried to remain supportive and just listen. All the while, I was uneasy inside. I then found out the guy's wife is leaving him. He had an affair years ago, and now this is too much for her to deal with, and she's had enough. She texts my wife and tells her off, but my wife texts back strongly denying any inappropriate relationship again and again. The whole thing ended up giving my wife and the other guy more reason to talk to try and figure out who sent the text and where they go from there. I objected. She tried to defend it a bit, and we never really came to a resolution. This guy aside, she's given her everything to this job, and I've begged her, pleaded with her, to please invest more time and effort and energy into our marriage, but she apparently isn't interested in that. She brought his name up on Christmas Day, and I asked incredulously if she was still talking to him after all our discussions, and she said yes, as if I was crazy for asking. I told her I was upset, and we'd agreed they wouldn't talk outside work. She said that he was a friend, and they were talking only about the issue with the text, etc. To be clear, I'm not dumb, guys. I knew it was inappropriate. But seriously, he's old and unattractive, and my wife has some daddy issues from her childhood. So I was pissed, but not concerned for the well-being of my marriage. So tonight, I get online to pay our cell phone bill, and I have a notification that says I've been using a lot more minutes and text messages than normal recently. Would I like to optimize my plan? I recently got a phone from work, so my cell on the plan is completely off 100% of the time until the lease is up. There should be no reason we're using a bunch of minutes and texts. We're not even phone people. We use social media and cameras, and that's about it. One look at the usage log, and I immediately know. The same number incoming and outgoing, over and over and over. Some calls were 2 and 3 hours long, others 45 minutes, 30 minutes here, 54 minutes here. In the last 12 days, my wife has spent 14.2 hours on the phone with the guy. 840-something minutes. I hoped it was one of the girls from work, but I knew. So I called the number from a burner number. He answered my name, and I knew for certain. This is a full-blown emotional affair, and I'm heartbroken over it. How could she do this to me? To our family? To our son? I can never trust her again. The more we talked about her not having outside contact with him, the more it seems she spent incredible amounts of time on the phone with him. I don't know what to do. Right now I'm so hurt, I can't see straight. I'm livid and I'm broken and I'm alone and lost all at once. I want her gone, but I don't believe in divorce, and I'm sure many would say, no sex, no problem. But it's the trust that I don't think I'll ever have again, and knowing that she's doing all of this behind my back hurts so badly. I feel like the big idiot sitting at home while they're off laughing about how foolish I am behind my back. I honestly don't think it's become physical yet, and my wife swears she would never cheat on me because she knows the pain of such a thing. She was previously married, and her ex had an affair which ended the marriage. She was really hurt by it. But this sure as heck feels like cheating, maybe just in a different format. My wife is giving her time, energy, attention, and most likely affection to another man, and I'm standing here holding the bag with a beautiful son I can't bear to think about causing pain. I wrote a long note tonight and told her I wanted to go until we could figure out where we go from here. I printed call log from her cell account, so there's no wiggling out, but I'm not going to give it to her tonight. I might tomorrow. I felt like I needed to sleep on it before I just went all in, because I don't know if there's any coming back once I go down that road. Am I overreacting? I feel like this is a huge deal, and I've never been so hurt in my entire life. Would love some advice. So sorry this is so long. I don't feel like I have anybody here I can talk to about this, which only makes things worse. Update. It's been a pretty wild few days, but I spent some time thinking about whether I am better off with or without her, and unquestionably, the answer is with. I confronted her about it. We had a pretty big blowout in discussion. She chose me and her family. Told him they'd no longer be speaking in any way beyond a professional setting. They do still work together, and while she's willing to quit her job, this is her dream job and I want that to be an absolute last resort. She told me she'd been really angry and cold because the last 3 years since we had her son have been like we've been living roommates. And she's right. She didn't make excuses, just explained why she went looking for someone else to validate her, which she did. It never got physical in any way, shape, or form. She suggested that we keep both phones in a neutral location, not the bedroom, and that we don't bring them into the bedroom, bathroom, privately, etc. We bought an alarm clock last night to eliminate that excuse. She suggested we get rid of Facebook too because that is a time drain and takes our attention away from one another. Once we decided that it was going to be worth the pain and the work that it will take to regain trust, grow close once again, etc. I planned a spur-of-the-moment overnight trip to DC, to which she volunteered to leave her phone behind. We had 6+ hours of drive time and countless hours of talking time to hash things out, enjoy each other with no other distractions, talk about how to fix things, agree on counseling, talk about our fears, our pain, etc. When we returned, she spoke with him yesterday and officially let him know that things will be strictly professional from now on and there will be no socializing beyond that. It was extremely hard on her and hard for me to watch. Also hard for me to deal with personally, but I'm doing my best to try and be proactive in rebuilding the trust I'd lost rather than sitting back and being a victim. I've chosen to instead demand that she choose me and our family, but to also become the guy that she wants to choose, that she chose once. She made it very clear that she had no attraction to him physically, and that she was attracted to the fact that he was in love with her and adored her when she wasn't feeling adored or loved at home. She'd gotten angry as she felt us growing further apart and finally let him closer than he should have ever been, her words, and she's sorry that she ever put us in that place. She's also scared that the changes she's seen in me over the last month, and certainly since I first found out last week, are fake. She wants to believe, but things have been cold for 3 years. I fell in love with my wife all over again at DC, remembered all the reasons I love her, and she began to remember how good we are together. I'm not walking forwardly blindly like a lamb to the slaughter, but I really think with honesty and communication and some intentionality on both of our parts, we will fix this and maybe even come out stronger on the other side. Thanks for all the support/advice. Whether I chose to heed a particular suggestion or not, I certainly needed it and appreciate all of it.